This math teacher was a total freaking nightmare. She required every student to have a specific scientific calculator in her class. The calculator cost $100, but if you forgot yours, too bad. She wouldn't lend you one and you were not allowed to share or borrow off of anybody else's when you were in the classroom. Well, one Saturday, a junior named Marcus was biking in his neighborhood when he spots a massive garage sale. Oh, that looks sick. He goes up and takes a closer look and he finds an absolute gold mine. This tech hoarder was selling a box of 15 perfect condition graphing calculators for $1 each. Well, Marcus didn't even blink. He bought all of them. I'm gonna buy all of them. He dropped 15 bucks, took everything home, and he realized he was sitting on over $1,000 of technology. Well, the next Monday, he brought these to school to start a little business. He would stand right outside of that rude teacher's classroom door. It would be 5 minutes before the bell, and he would rent them out to students that didn't have these calculators. Hey, psst, you need one? I know she's tough. $5 to rent for the class period. Oh my God, thank you so much. There's a test today. I was gonna fail it. I got you, dog. After a while, word spread and people would just message him like, hey, got any calculators today? I need one for the class. Yeah, I got a few left. I'll meet you by the bathroom in 10. The teacher eventually said that students could no longer rent these calculators, but that rule never really stuck because at that point, she's just using any excuse to fail students. This kid retired at the end of the year, and he sold those calculators to people that would buy them for like half the price. But he swears he saved a lot of people's grades that year, and that is respect. This kid and his mom and dad were kayaking one day and they get home late. They park at the lake house and they leave the kayak strapped to the top of the car. Nobody thought twice about it. Well, this kid is waking up at 3 in the morning. His dad's creeping into his room. Dad, what's going on? His dad, peeking out the window, says, shh, don't move. The mom then appears, dead serious. Come on. They head downstairs and the dad gets on the phone with 911.
911, what's your emergency?
And then the front door slams open so hard, the entire house hears it, and the mom's voice blasts. Drop that kayak right now! The kid's peeking through the blinds, and there she is, barefoot, standing in the driveway, holding a large butcher knife, screaming at 3 grown men who are literally trying to steal the kayak from the top of the car. They also have knives. The dad sees this happening, and he freaks out, but hold on, 1 second. Sandy, what are you doing? The mom's out there just slashing this knife around. The 3 thieves freak out and they run away into the woods. The police finally arrive. So what happened here? Here's a knife. I scared them away. They were trying to steal the kayak. Now talk to my husband. I'm going to bed. And that was that. What a freaking legend. This is a super unique school business. So this dude would make end of the year videos. Like a video yearbook. And at first, it looked like any end of the year video. Music, selfies, people walking to class, doing finger hearts, but then it would cut to black and the title would pop up, The Real Yearbook. You see, it turns out this one student had been filming everything all year. Not the school spirit stuff, not the assemblies, not the sports teams. He filmed all the chaos and the shenanigans. The 5-person fight in Spanish class. The time one Hawaiian roll started the biggest food fight in that school's history. Even the teacher's meltdown during second period.
You guys are the worst class I've ever had. Screw you.
And the edit of the results would be insane. Perfect cuts, super good sound design, transitions, and at the end of the year, he would tell people to report to room 108, which is one of the club rooms. It was after school, and he told people it was $2 to get in. Most people had no clue what this was about, but they paid anyway, and by 3:15, the entire room was packed with people. The lights go off, it's silent. He presses play and the projector goes. The video starts and it's epic. People are laughing, they're cheering, they're losing their minds. It was all the crazy stuff that happened that year in one perfectly edited video. When it was over, somebody said,
Yo bro, that was awesome, run it back.
But he didn't. Instead, he pulled out this Tupperware container that was filled with flash drives. Each flash drive had the file of that video on it, and he sold them for $10 each. Guess what? They sold out and he made absolute bank. He did this exact same thing for a few years after this. And then he stopped. But seriously, what a genius idea. You gotta respect this kid's hustle. These 2 sisters begged for a dog. Please, please dad. The dad would always say, you girls are not responsible enough. Well, years go by and after years of pleading, the dad finally caves in a little bit. He compromised and brought home a pot-belly pig. Oh my God, a piggy. They named her Sonic because she would sprint around the house like lightning. And for a while, Sonic was family. She would nap underneath the dining room table, roll over for belly rubs. She would even let the family rest their feet on her like she was a footrest. Well, Sonic didn't stay small. Within months, she grew into a 4-foot pig that lived in the patio. Well, then came the house renovations that were supposed to be done. The dad said the workers were gonna be there all the time and there was nowhere for Sonic to stay. She's gotta go somewhere, she can't stay here. Well, honey, we have to figure this out. We can't just let her go. They begged. The mom looked around and she found a country club that was willing to house her temporarily while the renovations were getting done. But the dad said no. Weeks later, the mom and the daughters flew to Sydney, Australia to visit some family. One night, the phone rang and it was the dad. So nobody agreed to take Sonic. Okay, I'll make some more calls. Don't bother, I put her down. She's gone. It's for the best, okay? Have fun. What? The three of them just sat there in silence. They were stunned. Your dad killed Sonic. What? Oh. They were absolutely devastated. That dad is the absolute worst. And rest in peace, Sonic. This happened in elementary school. A kid gets called out in class. Tyler, that is not appropriate. Go to the office. Then without a word, he stands up, sprints out of the classroom, and runs straight out the front school doors. And just like that, he's gone. The principal gets called. Yeah, we got a runner. They can't find him anywhere. 15 minutes later, the school's on full lockdown. People are starting to actually panic at this point. They call the kids' parents. They come, they're furious. They're freaking out. Where's my son? Where's my son? Police cars surround the building. A helicopter is hovering above. A freaking helicopter. They start searching the woods behind the school. Hours go by. A SWAT team-looking unit shows up, and they find him a mile away, sitting in a lonely patch of grass, eating a Snickers. Tyler, what are you doing out here, man? I got stressed, and the Snickers, it helps me relax. I feel much better now, by the way. They escort him back. The kid got suspended, and his parents had to take him to therapy for a bit. Had to figure out why he would do this in the first place, but still, that day is still known as the Great Tyler Lockdown. That's insane. Head up, do you have your nap slip? My what? So this school had a rule. You were not allowed to put your head down on a desk unless your parents signed a literal nap permission form. Like it was a frickin' field trip or something. So this is the type of stuff that would happen. Like one day, this kid named Noah, he got himself a pretty bad headache. Not faking it, he's not being dramatic, he's just tired and his head is pounding. He lowers his head on his arms for like 2 seconds and the teacher is on him. Hey, head up unless you have the slip. You're kidding me, right? Nope, it's a classroom policy. And for that day, she marked him down as non-participating, and he got a bunch of points taken off. Well, his grade drops, and he's pretty upset by this. This teacher's pretty stubborn, so he's trying to figure out ways to beat her, but he decides ultimately to just follow the rules. But he was gonna follow the rules in an awesome way. He went home to his parents. He had his parents create him a nap participation slip. The slip was laminated and it had a lanyard around it. So he comes back with that signed, laminated, customizable nap permission slip. Boom, miss, certified for the rest of the year. For the rest of the year, whenever he wanted to put his head down or he wasn't feeling too well, he would just pull out a slip and slam it on the desk. Okay. I got clearance, miss. Super weird rule, super weird teacher, but I guess that kid's a legend. I don't know. His friend's house had the weirdest rule ever. This dude said when he was younger, he was spending the weekend at one of his friend's house. They were in the kitchen getting snacks when his friend casually said, "Hey bro, don't eat the last chip." He grabbed the chip bag that his friend was talking about. He opened it and looked inside. There was literally 1 chip left in this bag. 1 chip. Why not? Because the last chip is for the house. What? He laughed. He thought he was joking and he popped that chip in his mouth. He ate it. Okay. A few moments later, the mom walked into the kitchen and saw that the last chip had been eaten from this chip bag. Who finished it? There was only 1 chip left. She just stared at him. That doesn't matter. The last chip is for the house. Always. He figured it was just a weird moment. Him and his friend went about their night. They were playing video games, just chilling. The next morning, this kid goes looking for some cereal in a cabinet, and that's when he saw it. What? Dozens of snack bags, all of them open, each with exactly 1 chip left. At this point, he was like, what is going on with this family? Bro, what is this? That's the house's cabinet, and those are the house's chips. Did you not listen to my mom yesterday? Bro, what? At that point, this kid was just hungry. He called his mom, and she came to pick him up. What is with these weird families, man? A secret he'll take to the grave. When this guy was a kid, his school had this huge field day event that they did every single year. Basically, on this day, students were free to roam around the school, there were games, prizes, it was incredible. Everyone looked forward to it. But one year, everything changed. On field day, he was grabbing some lunch in the cafeteria. He was messing around with a friend when they saw a little basket of butter packets. He picked it up, put it on the floor, and stepped on it. Well, when he stepped on it, the packet popped and the butter shot across the lunchroom like a rocket, sliding on the floor. Dude, that was sick. Let's do it again. They kept stepping on these butter packets one after another, launching the butter across the floor and giggling to themselves. Hee, this is so fun, right? Well, apparently all this butter had accumulated some feet in front of them in this kind of butter pile. And a teacher, who was carrying a tray, ended up walking right over it. I love field day. This is a great day. He crashed down hard and his tray of food went everywhere. Another teacher ran over. Oh my god, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. He was not okay. Something was seriously wrong. An ambulance was called and he was shipped out. Well, apparently this teacher was injured really badly. It was serious. Field day was shut down then and there. And the next day, the principal got on the intercom. Attention students! Due to an unfortunate incident, field day will be canceled indefinitely. We are launching an investigation into the events of yesterday's lunch. And that's when it hit him. Because of their stupid butter pack launching lunchtime, field day was canceled. What does that mean for next year? Well, I'll tell you what it means. There wasn't a field day next year. Or the year after that. He was never caught for what he did. And I guess the cameras in the lunchroom didn't pick up on this at all. This teacher had a secret drawer. When this guy was in 7th grade, his teacher did this weird thing. She had one drawer in her desk that she never opened. She'd grab pencils, papers, even her coffee mug from all the other drawers, but that one drawer, she would never touch. One day while she was out sick, that class had a substitute. And in the middle of a lesson, that sub needed a stapler. I need a stapler. Okay. So she went over to the desk and started opening drawers. Grabbed a few things and then she got to the forbidden drawer and she opened it. Well, the students noticed her open this drawer. Oh, what is this? Inside the drawer was a McDonald's bag, perfectly intact. The sub went into the bag and pulled out a medium-sized McDonald's fry. What in the world? It looked normal, like it was just bought yesterday. How long has this been in there? I don't know, miss, but honestly, I would leave it. And she did. She put that right back in the drawer and closed it. The next day, the teacher was back, and everybody was dying to know what was up with those french fries. I hope you guys had a great day yesterday. Yes, I'm feeling much better. Hey, miss? Oh, yeah, Carlos. Why do you have McDonald's fries in your drawer? The teacher just smirked. Because they never rot. I bought them 5 years ago. 5 years? Holy crap. The class was horrified. But they look completely normal. Exactly. That's why I keep them. It's my little experiment. Food should not look like that after 5 years. In that class for the rest of the year, whenever somebody brought up McDonald's or talked about food in general, she would pull out those 5-year-old McDonald's fries. Just to make a point how bad fast food is for you. Hey, you're the guy selling the dresser, right? Yes, sir. $40 and it's yours. This guy was scrolling through Craigslist, looking for some cheap furniture, when he found a solid wooden dresser that he really liked. He meets up with the seller, pays him, and hauls the dresser home. Everything seems totally normal until he opened up the first drawer. What the heck is this? And inside that drawer was a Ziploc bag full of teeth. Human teeth. And not just like a couple of teeth. We're talking dozens. Different sizes, shapes, colors, some old and yellow, others perfectly white. What is this? He immediately calls the seller. Hey, yeah, hi. So what's in this dresser? Oh, you found the teeth, huh? Yes, I found the teeth. Why are there teeth in this dresser that you sold me? Listen, man, my grandpa was a dentist and those are his collection, okay? A collection of human teeth. Okay, so why are they in the dresser? Oh, that's just where he kept them. Okay, but why are there so many of them, dude? This is kind of crazy. I don't know, bro. He was really passionate about teeth, okay? Now I got a Caesar salad and Love is Blind to watch. Can I go? Yeah, okay, bye. So this guy did what any normal person would do. He kept the teeth. Why? Well, just in case that guy's grandpa was a serial murderer. The dumbest rules parents had their kids follow. When this girl was in high school, her parents had this very strict rule. Alright, love you guys, I'm going to my friend's house. Okay, don't forget the rules. I won't. The rule was this. She had a curfew every night, and for every minute she was late after curfew, she would be grounded for a week. So if she was 2 minutes late coming home, she would be grounded for 2 weeks. Well, one day she was stuck behind a train. Come on, come on, come on. It was one of those long trains. You know what I'm talking about. Well, it was passing for 10 minutes, causing her to be 10 minutes late, Marissa. Do you know what that means? You were 10 minutes. Honey, please, I got this. No. 10 minutes late is what? 10 weeks. Excuse me? 10 weeks. 10 weeks, very good. You're grounded for 10 weeks, now get to your room. Oh, God, I hate them so much. Stupid rule. What the heck? What's a pineapple doing in here? So in 8th grade, this kid had a crazy gaming setup at home, and he had the nicest stuff. He had a bunch of fancy controllers, fancy headsets, everything. Well, one day he brought one of his super nice Xbox controllers to school to fidget with. At lunch, his friend saw it and was like, "Hey, yo, let me borrow that for the weekend." "Nah, man, I kinda need it." But his friend pulled out $5 and said, "Hey, come on, just for 2 days, I'll pay you." So he took the money, and Monday, his friend returned the controller and said, "Bro, I would definitely rent this from you again." That's when his idea sparked. He started bringing all of his extra controllers from home to school, charging kids $5 for the weekend or $10 for the whole week. Then kids started asking him if he had any extra headsets, so he started bringing all of his nice headsets to school. By the next month, he was running a full-blown rental service. Controllers, headsets, even an extra keyboard. These kids were paying just to use the better gear at their house. He was making $40 to $50 a week just by doing this. But then one day, one kid lost one of his controllers, and instead of paying for it, he snitched to a teacher. The principal then shut down the whole thing. But in total, this kid made over $1,500. You gotta respect the hustle. Hey Kyle, what Chad? Nice mustard on your shirt, you frickin' slob. Whatever, man, at least I didn't fail English 3 times. Good story, man, but in what chapter do you shut up? That was good, right? What was that, man? I could eat a can of alphabet soup and poop out a better comeback than that. In fact, stay there. I'll be right back. Perfect. Hey Chad, what? Look. How did he do that? How did he do that? This kid started a business at school and he made absolute bank. So this kid loved spicy food. So one day he brought a bunch of spices from home, and during lunch he started putting these spices into bags of chips, just testing out different flavors. He tried it. It was good. He let his friends try it. They loved it. So the next day, a bunch of people were asking him if they could make them their own bag of these seasoned chips. So he began bringing extra chips and extra seasoning to school and selling these seasoned chip bags for $2 a piece. But baby business was booming. Demand exploded. Within a month, kids were paying $5 a bag, and he had a full operation. He would mix the spices at home, season the chips and pack them in Ziploc bags, and he would be selling them before school even started every day. And every day, he sold out. People couldn't get enough of these awesome chips. But one day, a teacher caught a group of students standing in the hallway, secretly passing around these spicy chips like it was contraband. So she shut it down, reported this to the principal, and someone gave him this kid's name. So this dude was called to the principal's office. But here's where it gets awesome. The principal thought this idea was absolutely genius. Instead of stopping him, he told the kid to turn it into a real business. The last I heard about this story was that the kid was trying to get an Instagram page started and a website. He was going to begin selling these chips outside of just school. And I hope the best for him, because man, you gotta respect the hustle. This teacher is the absolute worst. At this one middle school, in math class one year, there was this very awful teacher. She would scream at her students, refuse to answer any questions, and she would act very aggressive at very small things, kind of like she had anger issues. Well, one day in this math class, they were going over the answers to a math packet, and one girl in this class, let's call her Tina, flipped to the next page a little too early. Well, somehow, from all the way across the room, the teacher noticed this, and she stormed over. Are you in a rush, Tina? Because if so, you can take your stuff and you can leave. She smacked her hand on Tina's desk, and Tina was horrified. She started packing her stuff, getting ready to leave. Well, apparently, Tina wasn't fast enough because the teacher grabbed her by the arm, shoved her out of the classroom into the hallway, and slammed the door. And stay out there! After class, her friends found Tina crying in the hallway. And so, when they got to the next class, which was PE, they told one of the coaches, and the coach did not like to hear this. You said, what happened? All right, will you guys just hang out here, okay? I'll be back. After PE, everybody that was in that math class was brought into the dean's office, and one by one they were questioned. And just before Thanksgiving break, that horrible, awful teacher was fired. That's karma for you. This hungry college student accidentally built a $200 million empire. So this guy, Seth Berkowitz, was in college back in 2003, and one night he was craving cookies. Nice, warm cookies. But there was a problem. He didn't have a car, and nobody delivered cookies that late. So he took matters into his own hands. He baked a batch himself. He tried it, and they were pretty dang good. And he figured other students probably craved the same thing late at night. So he started selling them. At first, it was a simple side hustle. He would take orders, bake these cookies in his tiny dorm kitchen, and deliver them himself around campus until 2 a.m. Baby, word spread pretty fast. By 2004, he had so many orders that he had to rent out a real kitchen, hire some help, and turn this into a full-on business. And let me tell you, business was absolutely booming. And what started as a small campus gig turned into something he could have never imagined. By 2018, his company, Insomnia Cookies, had over 260 locations across the United States, Canada, and the UK. That same year, Krispy Kreme bought a majority stake in that company for around $140 million. And today, Insomnia Cookies is worth over $200 million. And this started all because this dude wanted a snack back in 2003. That's absolutely insane. This kid's mom is sus. The person that shared this story said that his friend's mom wouldn't let them watch SpongeBob. Hey, we should watch some SpongeBob. No. My mom will get so mad. Dude, she's in the other room. Like, it's just SpongeBob. She's not gonna get that mad. They're watching SpongeBob. No. Patrick is such an idiot. What are you doing? Oh my god, Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We're just watching SpongeBob. It's not a big deal. SpongeBob is not allowed in our house, Kyle. Go home now. But now. Okay. And you get upstairs right now. Bring your Bible and the rosary. I'll meet you there in 5 minutes. Yes, ma'am. Dear God. Why was she so against SpongeBob, you ask? It's because she thought the holes on SpongeBob's body would induce evil, sinful, and dirty thoughts. Black markets kids ran in their schools. So this kid's business started when Prime came out, and everybody wanted to get their hands on some. Well, he was the same. He looked online, he tried to find some to buy, and he was able to get some from a local store for a decent price, so he bought a bunch. One day he came to school with $120 worth of Prime, and students were swarming him. Everyone wanted to buy this product. Business was absolutely booming, and this kid was incredibly hyped. That first day, he sold $220 worth of Prime. That's $100 profit. Business kept like this for a while. He was making decent profit, he was selling a ton of Prime bottles, and students were happy. Well, there was one student whose mom worked for the school, and the student told his mom what this kid was doing, selling Prime and making money. When this kid found out that he was snitched on, he thought he was going to get in trouble, suspended, something like that, but that is not what happened. Instead, the school concession stand started selling Prime as well. Thing is, the school concession stand was open all day long, whereas this kid had to sell his Prime at recess or lunch only. So it was an unfair advantage. So now this kid is in competition with the school, and he's selling his Prime for less. But he's still making profit because he has some exclusive flavors that the school doesn't have. But still, this kid is struggling to keep up because of their unfair advantage of them being open all day long. This story was sent to me almost a year ago, and at the end of it, he asked if anybody had any advice on how he could revive his business and continue to make profit. Well, I'm sorry, my friend, for seeing this so late, but I hope it all worked out. Gotta respect the hustle. The Haunting of Maple Street. As Halloween approached, the neighborhood of Maple Street buzzed with excitement and a hint of fear. For years, children shared stories of the old Jenkins house. The Jenkins house was the creepiest, oldest house on the street that had been abandoned for decades. Mysteriously, the house remained untouched since the day Mrs. Jenkins was found dead inside. Well, on Halloween night, the neighborhood was buzzing with anticipation. Everybody was out trying to get their candy. Well, 3 friends, Jess, Sam, and Lucy, were walking by the old Jenkins house. But to their surprise, there was a flickering, creepy-looking sign on the front yard that said trick or treat. Oh, we shouldn't go up there, you guys. You heard those stories, right? Yeah, something doesn't feel right about this. Oh, shut up. Those stories are fake. I want my candy. Let's go. The door creaked open. It was an older lady standing there. A trick or treat? The old woman slowly turned her head up and said, treat? Or trick? The three kids ran away in complete fright. The sound of laughter echoed the streets. The old Jenkins house came alive once more that Halloween. And those three kids never forgot what happened on that doorstep. This kid cheated on his test in a genius way. So at his high school, whenever they took a test in a specific class, they would grade all the tests as a class. So you would be grading your own paper, but the teacher would make sure that you only had a red pen at your desk. So when you were grading your own paper, you could only use a red pen. Well, this kid had a brilliant idea. He never studied for tests. He said he didn't really want to. So what he did in this class was he took his red pen, opened it up, took out the red ink pen thing, and replaced that with a black ink pen thing. Looks like a red pen, but it's actually black. So when the teacher is giving out the answers and the students are grading their tests in the red pen, this guy would be fixing everything he got wrong. And it would look like he was grading his test, when in reality, he was changing his answers. He said this worked every single time, and he got an A on every single test in that class. This one middle school teacher said that she had a class pet, a goldfish, that she loved very much. Well, one morning she got to school, and she went to go feed her fish. All right, Felipe, time for breakfast. Felipe? Felipe? The fish was gone. Nowhere to be seen. The tank was empty. That entire day, she was incredibly sad. She announced to her class, "Hello class, this morning I walked into the classroom to feed Felipe, and he is no longer in the tank. I have no idea where he is. I don't want to point any fingers, but I didn't move him, so that means one of you had to have taken my fish." No one said anything, until later that night she was sitting at home when she got a text from one of her students. It was a screen recording of a Snapchat story. The Snapchat story showed a kid putting Felipe the class fish into a water bottle, and then giving that water bottle with Felipe inside of it to a random person on the street. Oh my god. She never saw Felipe again, and that kid was suspended.
দুই ঘরের নামটা এখন আমি জিজ্ঞেস করব।
কি হয়েছে?
কান্নাকাটি করছিল জন্য আজকে ওর জন্য পিস্তল নিয়ে এসেছি। ভালোই হলো।
হ্যাঁ, সেটাও ভাবছি, আবার এও ভাবছি যে এরকম একজন প্রভাবশালী।
আপনার লুক ভালো, তাই আপনি হিরো হতে পারতেন।
অবস্থা খারাপ করে।
ভালো অ্যাক্টিং করেন।
হ্যাঁ, হিরো হতে পারতাম না। ওটা বাড়ি থেকে ফোন। মিথ্যা না বলি।
ব্যবসা করেন, অনেক বড় ব্যবসা।
বাইকটা নষ্ট হয়ে গেল। অনেকদিন পর বাচ্চাদেরকে এভাবে দেখলাম, খুব ভালো লাগছে, সুন্দর।
চিন্তার কি আর শেষ আছে রে মা?
বিয়ে হয়। ব্যবসা করেন, অনেক বড় ব্যবসা।
বাইকটা নষ্ট হয়ে গেল। অনেকদিন পর বাচ্চাদেরকে এভাবে দেখলাম, খুব ভালো লাগছে, সুন্দর।
চিন্তার কি আর শেষ আছে রে মা?
টুম্পাও ভালো আছে। তুই কেমন আছিস বাবা?
মা, আমি আলহামদুলিল্লাহ ভালো আছি। শোনো না, কেমন চলে?
ভালো চলছে। তুই বাড়ি আসবি কবে?
আমি
মানে আপনি আমাকে ভুল বুঝতেছেন। আমি আপনাকে ডাকছি এটা বলার জন্য যে আপনি আমাকে এরপর থেকে বাবা, আমার শুধু বাবাই আছে আর আমি। সবাইকে কি বলছি, বাসায় গিয়া এই পড়াটা পড়তে হবে, ঠিক আছে? এখন ছুটি, বাসায় যাও। আপনাকে অনেকবার বলছি এরকম রাস্তাঘাটে আমার সাথে কথা বলবেন না, বিরক্ত করবেন না।
কেন?
লোকটা কে?
আমি তন্নি, এখানেই থাকি।
আচ্ছা, না আমি এই রাস্তাতে যাচ্ছিলাম, হঠাৎ কাজটা করতেছি না, উনি ফোন দিচ্ছিল, তো একটু টেনশনে পড়ে গেছি। কাজে লেগে গেল, তাই না? আমি এটা রেখে দিই।
সত্যি?
আপনার তো বিশ্বাস হচ্ছে না? খেলা মানে ওই আপনার মতো সামনে একটা ভাই আছে, বাচ্চাদের পড়া যাচ্ছে উতলা। আমি যে না, রাস্তা ক্লিয়ার করার কথা বলতেছে না, সে বিয়ে করতে চায়। আমার মনে হয় আপনার উচিত এসব ঝামেলা থেকে সরে যাওয়া।
না, আর রাস্তাঘাটে ডিস্টার্ব করবেন না।
মানে আমি তোমাকে ডিস্টার্ব করি?
ওকে, তাহলে আমি আপনাকে একদিন রান্না করে খাওয়াবো। আমাকে
জি।
ঝাল।
কার ফোন ছিল?